There is a profound and terrifying misconception about the unseen dimensions that has kept you isolated, exhausted, and constantly bleeding energy. You have been conditioned to believe that you are perpetually being watched by the spiritual realms in order to be judged, punished, or endlessly tested for your perceived human flaws. That is a fabricated lie designed by lesser entities to keep you small. You are not being judged. You are being meticulously studied. You are being documented by hierarchies of entities, both of light and dark origins, because you possess a highly volatile, occult mechanism that they simply do not comprehend. You have the rare biological and spiritual capacity to transmute sheer, malicious darkness into raw, blinding power, and this entire process is anchored and activated through your eyes. The constant, crushing exhaustion you feel, the agonizing urge to look away, to soften your gaze, and to lower your frequency just to exist in average rooms without making ordinary people deeply uncomfortable, is exactly what is draining your life force. You have been taught that your intense stare is intimidating, a social flaw, or something you must apologize for. But when a spirit like yours looks directly at a corrupted soul, it is not a mere biological function. It is the immediate initiation of a terrifying, undeniable spiritual audit. If you have recently noticed that the people who try to manipulate you suddenly avert their gaze, stumble over their words, or if the unseen attacks against you have inexplicably started to fail the moment you stopped hiding your true vision, go to the comments right now and type 777. Register your frequency. Establish your presence. Subscribe to this channel because the revelations I am about to share are systematically blocked from the algorithms of those who are not ready to hear them. My name is Enrico, and I have been observing the spiritual architecture of this world for a very long time. Listen to me with absolute focus. I am going to reveal the exact, terrifying mechanics of what happens in the unseen architecture of reality when a chosen one finally stops softening their gaze and looks directly into the core of another human being. We are not talking about simple eye contact. We are talking about the metaphysical weight of a vision that has been forged in the fires of profound suffering and deep isolation. For months, perhaps years, you have felt a physical, suffocating pressure to look down, to dart your eyes away, and to maintain a heavy fog of distraction whenever you are forced to interact with the corrupted. You thought there was something socially awkward about you, but what is actually happening is a desperate, automatic survival mechanism. You have been forcing yourself into a suffocating intellectual quarantine. You have had to constantly monitor your expressions, dull your sharp instincts, and pretend you do not see the masks slipping on the faces of the manipulators around you, all just to keep a fragile, fabricated peace. You starve your own intellect and artificially dim the laser focus of your eyes so they will not feel microscopic and exposed in your presence. This self-imposed suppression is a profound trauma to your nervous system. It physically hurts to swallow your truth and blindfold your own awareness. It drains vast reserves of your vitality to play along with the illusions of broken people who desperately need you to believe their lies. But when you finally stop doing this, when you lock your eyes onto theirs and refuse to blink away their darkness, the unseen world goes completely, deafeningly silent. Angels, those beings of pure, unadulterated light, do not possess the capacity to understand the dark nuances of human limitation. They are completely immune to the need to hide, because they do not interact with the darkness. They exist in a static, impenetrable state of grace. But you do not. You walk directly through the mud and the heavy venom of human corruption. When your eyes strip away a manipulator's disguise in a fraction of a second, the celestial realms literally pause their operations to observe you in absolute awe. They are witnessing a technology of the soul that they do not possess, the capacity to act as a living, breathing mirror of absolute truth. As this celestial silence falls, the atmospheric pressure of the spiritual realm changes instantly. The entities that thrive on chaos, the parasitic shadows hovering around the person you are looking at, suddenly freeze in absolute terror. They realize that your eyes are not merely observing their host. They are aggressively dismantling the energetic camouflage that allows those dark entities to feed. The weight they feel is the literal atmospheric pressure of your soul holding their collapsing reality accountable. This brings us to the exact anatomy of the unseen attack and the incredible energetic transmutation that occurs the moment your gaze is weaponized. There comes a moment when the people you have been protecting, the ones you actively tried to heal with your warmth, decide to extract more than you can give. They deploy fake vulnerability, they manufacture chaos, and they spin elaborate webs of deceit, completely unaware that your eyes are recording every microscopic inconsistency. They operate entirely on a parasitic frequency, lacking the internal spiritual machinery to generate their own warmth. When they push their manipulation into the realm of pure malice, trying to gaslight you or make you question your own sanity, your intuition snaps from a state of hopeful, empathetic denial into a state of cold, surgical hypervigilance. You stop looking at the floor. You lock eyes with them. In that exact fraction of a second, your vision catches the slight tremor in their jaw, the asymmetrical pull of their smile, the hollow, dead emptiness behind their pupils. You no longer see a victim in need of your rescue. You see the parasite in vivid, undeniable clarity. Your empathy, which was a warm, flowing pipeline sustaining their fragile ego, freezes over instantly. Through the sheer, unyielding force of your gaze, you withdraw your energetic supply. You begin to transmute their venom on contact. You take the poison of their calculated cruelty, synthesize it in the high-pressure laboratory of your own heart, and turn it into an impenetrable wall of clarity. The friction of this transmutation is intense, and the manipulator instantly feels a cold rush of panic because they know, deep in their cellular memory, that they have been truly seen. At this exact moment, as the fallout of this spiritual warfare begins to materialize, and the parasite begins to starve energetically right in front of your eyes, you need something more than just simple awareness to survive the transition. You need the precise architectural blueprints of this duality. This is exactly why you must look at the description and the pinned comment below this video. I have secured exclusive access to the Wisdom of Solomon Code. This is not a collection of empty, toxic positivity or meaningless motivational quotes. It is a strictly guarded package containing the complete ebook and audio files designed for the practical mastery of this exact frequency dominion. It is the definitive manual for those who are ready to stop bleeding energy, stop averting their eyes, and start commanding their reality. And it costs less than a simple meal. Secure it immediately before it is removed, because what happens next to your attacker requires you to be completely anchored, unbothered, and established in your own supreme power. Once you are anchored and the parasitic cord is completely severed by the absolute certainty of your vision, the mechanism of divine wrath is fully unleashed through the activation of geometric justice. You must understand that when you, a being marked by a significantly higher frequency, are intentionally targeted, the spiritual defense systems do not respond with gentle human forgiveness. They respond with absolute, terrifying mathematical precision. The higher entities that guide and document your journey unleash a karmic boomerang so devastatingly calibrated that it bypasses all of the abuser's earthly defenses and strikes the very foundation of their psyche. But the most terrifying weapon used against them is the memory of your eyes. Because they were forced to absorb the massive rebound of energy generated by your unyielding gaze, a rapid psychological rot begins to manifest within their physical and mental reality. They will begin to suffer from a sudden, inexplicable insomnia. They will wake up in the dead of the night with a crushing, suffocating weight on their chest, entirely unable to articulate the primal fear that is consuming them. Every time they close their eyes in the dark, they will feel the piercing weight of your stare dissecting them all over again. They are feeling the echo of the exact pain and confusion they maliciously tried to project onto you, but magnified by the terrifying realization that they cannot hide. Here is the critical difference. Because they do not have your spiritual antibodies, because they have never done the agonizing work of facing their own shadows, they cannot process this heavy, exposing energy. What was a temporary sorrow for you becomes a permanent, maddening rot in their psyche. Their internal world becomes a haunted landscape of their own making. The demonic entities that once whispered strategies into their ears now abandon them, terrified of the blazing spotlight your gaze has left permanently marked on their aura. The manipulator cannot escape the low-frequency fog they generated because they are now trapped inside it, entirely cut off from your light, left only with the haunting, inescapable sensation that they are still being watched, judged, and dismantled by the universe itself. This internal decay inevitably breaches the surface, triggering your rapid, irreversible evolution into absolute emotional immunity and the total collapse of their engineered reality. As the psychological rot consumes them from the inside out, the masks they have so carefully glued to their faces in front of society begin to slip uncontrollably. The universe orchestrates perfectly timed exposures, revealing their true, malicious nature to everyone they rely on for validation and supply. The people who once supported them will suddenly feel a deep, inexplicable repulsion toward their presence, sensing the exact same microscopic rot that your eyes detected long before anyone else. You do not have to lift a single finger to make this happen. You do not need to seek revenge, launch a smear campaign, or exhaust yourself explaining your side of the story to anyone. Your only job is to stand completely still, keep your eyes wide open, and watch the architecture of their deceit crumble under the crushing weight of the universal laws they so arrogantly violated. Their isolation becomes absolute, not because you willed it, but because the environment itself rejects their corrupted signature. As you witness this, the final consequence of their attack takes hold within you: the permanent sealing of your aura. The attack that was meant to blind you becomes the exact mechanism that perfects your vision. The frequencies of guilt, shame, and manufactured obligation that they once used to force you to look away now simply bounce off your newly forged energetic armor. You become a total enigma to them. As your frequency skyrockets from the transmutation of this event, you physically and spiritually disappear from their radar. They can no longer read your energy. They can no longer predict your moves, and they are completely, permanently locked out of your future timeline. You are elevated into a dimensional frequency where their darkness cannot even survive the atmospheric pressure. Do not ever romanticize the suffering you have endured to clear your vision. There is absolutely no nobility in walking blindfolded just to make broken souls feel comfortable in their refusal to heal themselves. You were not given this immense, blinding light and this penetrating sight to be a martyr for the dark. The strange weight behind your eyes is not a burden. It is the exact surgical mechanism that cleansed your universe of parasites. You have taken their absolute worst poison, synthesized it in the high-pressure laboratory of your own soul, and turned it into the ultimate, impenetrable cure. This is the true mastery of the Chosen One. You are no longer prey waiting to be consumed in the shadows. You are the architect of a new, untouchable reality. Walk securely in this brutal, beautiful truth. Never again lower your gaze for anyone who tries to bury you, and remember that your light is not a request for permission to exist. It is an absolute command.